Hi, welcome back to Travel Destinations. Looking at the massive map and getting a bit overwhelmed about choosing the best places to visit in Brazil? Don't worry, we're here to help you to make the most out of your trip and give you the best tips to enjoy Brazil like a local. I'm Brazilian and I'm about to share all my favorite things about my country. From drinking Guaraná at the beach in Rio, to visiting a national park full of pristine blue lagoons in the north or helping to save turtles in the south, Brazil has an option for every kind of backpacker. From north to south, you're going to find something amazing to do in every corner of the country, and I guarantee you'll be surprised by how diverse Brazil is. Go with an open heart, listen and talk to the locals. There's no better way to get to know our culture. Are you ready for your Brazilian adventure? Here are the best places to visit in Brazil. Granada. 1. Florianópolis, Santa Catarina. Floripa is such a wholesome place that we Brazilians call it the Magic Island. Its geography is a little confusing, as the city covers part of the mainland as well as Florianópolis Island. The mainland is mostly residential, so the island is where you'll spend most of your time, as it's where you'll find the most famous attractions. This perfect place has beautiful waterfalls, amazing beaches, adventurous trekking and historical sightseeing. It's definitely one of the top places to visit in Brazil. Now that you're ready to visit Brazil, it's time for you to learn a very important word in Portuguese, praia. It means beach and you'll see it many times in this article. The best thing to do in Floripa is visit the amazing beaches spread through the north, south and east of the island. If you want to visit more than one beach in the same day, it's better to stay on the same side of the island to avoid losing time in traffic, as it can get super busy during the high season. The beaches in the north of the island are more touristy and have many well-known clubs, so things can get a bit more expensive. I'd recommend that you visit Praia de Lagoina, Praia do Forte, Praia de Daniela, Praia Brava and Praia das Ingleses. The east side of the island has an amazing backpacker vibe and is a great spot for surfing. My favorite beaches there are Joaquina, Praia Mole, Praia de Galata and Barra de Lagoa. This is also the backpacker hotspot of the city, where you'll find people from all over the world, super cool bars and restaurants and people selling their art in the street. If you're looking for some quiet time surrounded by nature, the south of the island is where you want to be. We're talking untouched beaches, some of them only accessible by trekking, like Praia dos Naufragados. If you want to mingle with the locals, you should try the hike to Lagoa do Leste, one of the most famous hiking trails in the south of Brazil. There are 3 different options with different levels of difficulty, the easiest one taking over an hour. You won't regret the views when you get there though. If you're thinking of doing something different and having a great local experience, you should visit Project Amor, a non-profit organization that protects sea turtles from extinction along the Brazilian coastline. You can visit the turtles in their branch in Floripa, and if you're lucky enough, witness the turtle being released back to the wild, which is normally followed by many people cheering. 2. Ouro Preto, Minas Gerais. Ouro Preto is one of the best places to visit in Brazil for anyone who wants to understand the country's history. The city's name translates to black gold in English, because it was the center of the gold rush in the 18th century. Nowadays, you can still experience the city's past through its architecture and the art of the amazing Brazilian sculptor Aleijadinho. You can visit all the main attractions on foot, and just walking around admiring the scenery is really one of the best things you can do. The main attractions in Ouro Preto are the old mines from the colonial period, where you can take a tour to hear about how tons of ores and precious stones were extracted and taken back to Europe, and how slave work was used for this. The city also has many museums where you can begin to understand more about the history of the country. At Inconfidence Museum you can learn about Brazil's independence. And if you're interested in Brazilian art, you should check out the Sacred Art Museum. A great place to see Aleijadinho's work is São Francisco de Assis Church, where you can find many sculptures made by the artist. One of the coolest things you can do in Ouro Preto is look for a university party. They're super open and accept students from all over the world. All you have to do is go to the student neighborhood Bakesita and ask where the party will happen. You can literally knock at one of the fraternity's doors and ask. If you're visiting during Carnival, even better. There will be plenty of student parties you can join. If you're visiting around the Christmas period, you can join an amazing street celebration called Congada, where locals recreate the coronation of Chico Rey, Chico the King, a former slave that worked in the mines in Ouro Preto and bought freedom for himself, his son and many others. It starts around Christmas time and goes until January 6th. 3. São Paulo. São Paulo is one of the coolest cities to visit in Brazil, and it's a great place to start your adventure, as many international flights land there. São Paulo is a big metropolis, full of unusual things to explore that make this city such a special place. Start your adventure walking around Vila Madalena, a trendy neighborhood full of nice cafes, restaurants and vintage shops. On Saturdays, you can visit Feira Livre de Vila Madalena, a street market with arts and crafts, loads of fruits and veggies and amazing street food. For an authentic Brazilian experience, try a pastel, a delicious savory snack, with a sugar cane juice. After getting all the energy you need, head to Bico do Batman, a famous spot in the city for street art lovers. If you're into art, visit the Museum of Art of São Paulo at Avenida Paulista. You're going to see the building quite easily from a distance because of its amazing architecture style, and you can get lost inside for hours. After visiting the museum, head to Bexiga, one of the most traditional neighborhoods in the city that's full of great pizzerias. Speaking of pizza, you must try Brazilian pizza. Forget everything you thought you knew about the traditional Italian food and open yourself to a whole new level of nonsense. I am talking about ice cream pizza, and I'm not even sorry. By this point, you have probably noticed that São Paulo is a great place to walk around and eat delicious food, so if you're not veggie, head to Mercado Municipal to try an enormous mortadella sandwich. After all the seating, have a walk in Ibirapuera Park and visit the Afro Museum, a space dedicated to telling the story of more than 5 centuries of African history in Brazil. For an amazing sunset and to mingle with the locals, go to Praça do Pôr do Sol. It literally means the Sunset Park, for one of the most beautiful views of the city. For Salvador, Bahia. When Brazilians think about Salvador, the first thing that comes to our mind is Palermo. Imagine really colorful historical houses lined up, forming a magical setting. This iconic place is a UNESCO World Heritage Site where you can find many shops, restaurants and cafes. The best thing to do is just walk around and absorb the amazing energy that this city has. But I have to give you a little warning, this is a famous place for pickpockets, so always check where you have your belongings. Don't walk around with your camera or phone exposed and avoid leaving the main streets. Still in the historical center, visit Largo de Rio de Jesus, a place full of beautiful churches, restaurants and amazing architecture. Visit the Afro Museum to learn more about Afro religions in Brazil, and Casa do Carnaval de Bahia to get to know the history of Carnival in the city. Still around this area, check the Lacerda lift. Built in 1873, this is the easiest and cheapest way to get to the high part of the city. When you're at the top, Tom de Souza Square is a beautiful viewpoint and perfect place to watch the sunset. If you want to buy affordable and authentic souvenirs for your loved ones back home, visit Mercado Modelo. This public market has been working for more than 100 years and has over 250 stalls selling art and food. Now, get ready for an amazing story. Bonfim Church was built between 1745 and 1772, and nowadays is the center of a beautiful multi-faith celebration that happens in Salvador every year in January. On this day, around 200 women dressed in white walk a pilgrimage of 8 kilometers to wash the stairs of the church with water and flowers. while the locals celebrate with music and chants of African origin. This is a beautiful ritual to watch, and you should consider visiting Salvador during this time. And let's not forget about the Sangre du Fim ribbon, a tradition which involves putting a colorful ribbon on someone's wrist and asking them to make 3 wishes. You make one knot for each wish, and when the ribbon falls off on its own, all these dreams will come true. This tradition is part of the Festa do Bon Fim Parte, but you can find these ribbons all year round in most cities in Brazil. Together with Palermo, Barra Lighthouse is one of the most famous postcard images of Salvador. The lighthouse was built in the 17th century and nowadays is a museum. Just in front of the lighthouse, there's a beautiful beach for you to walk around and watch the sunset. How can we not talk about food? Food from Bahia is amazing, and you can't leave the city without trying in a carriage. It's a beautiful mix of beans, shrimp, onion, salt and pepper, all together and fried in palm oil. It's the most traditional food of the city, and you can find the best ones in Largo de Draina. 6. Recife, Pernambuco. Marco Zero Square is one of the most famous attractions in Recife, where locals and travelers come together to chat, relax or cycle around. If you're visiting during Carnival, this is also a meeting point for many Carnival blocks. From there, you can take a boat to Parque das Esculturas, Sculptures Park, and get to know the work of Francisco Brennand. On the same square is Centro de Artesanato de Pernambuco, where you'll find art by more than 700 local artists, perfect to buy presents and something different to take back home. Another amazing market, and the oldest in Brazil, it's been open since 1875. São José Market has more than 500 stalls with typical food and artwork. Recife's historic neighborhood, Recife Antigo, is full of other exciting things for you to explore. Espaço Rua is an outdoor art gallery with loads of music, dance, sports, theater, circus, cinema and graffiti. Passo do Frevo is another place you should visit, and it's just around the corner. The museum is dedicated to the history of Frevo, the traditional music from Recife. There's also an amazing market here every Sunday night. If you're looking for more art, the Ricardo Brennand Institute is your place. It was recognized as the best museum in South America by TripAdvisor a few years ago, and it's an incredible place that features galleries with work from international artists, a sculpture garden, a library, a pinacoteca, an amazing green space and a castle. Save a full afternoon to visit it, you will be amazed by the incredible collection this place has. 7. Rio de Janeiro. Rio is known in Brazil as Cidade Maravilhosa, the wonderful city, and as soon as you get there, you'll understand why. This city has so much to offer, from lush nature to amazing beaches, great food and really friendly locals. Start by ticking off the main attractions: Pão de Açúcar, Sugarloaf Mountain, for unforgettable views of Rio, and Cristo Redentor, Christ the Redeemer, the most famous image of the city. The queues are normally very long for both of these, so try to arrive early. If you're feeling adventurous, you can hike between the Morro de Rica, Rica Hill, and Pão de Açúcar instead of taking the famous cable car. It starts from Rica, very close to Praia Vermelha, and it takes about 40 minutes. The Botanical Gardens are another magical place you should include in your itinerary. There you'll find many plants and trees you've never seen before, and super friendly monkeys trying to steal your snacks. Parque de Lage, located in the same neighborhood as the Botanical Gardens, is a beautiful Italian building with an incredible view of Christ the Redeemer, and it's totally free. Also visit the Cesarin Steps, a tribute from the Chilean artist Jorge Cesarin to Brazilian people. Rio is also full of amazing museums. So if you ever get tired of going to the beach, is this even possible? They're a great option to spend your day. Museu do Amanhã, Museum of Tomorrow, Museu da Arte Moderna, Museum of Modern Art, Museu Histórico Nacional, National History Museum, and Museu da Arte do Rio Mar, Museum of Art, are my favorites and totally worth a visit. Now it's time to talk about what you've been waiting for, Rio's amazing beaches. Copacabana, Praia do Leme, Ipanema, Praia Vermelha, Arpoador. I could spend the whole day listing them. Choose your favorite and spend the day drinking coconut water, or caipirinha, and enjoying the sun. If you want to feel like a proper carioca, what people from Rio are called, make sure you try Globo biscuits and mate, an infusion of roasted yerba mate, from one of the sellers at the beach. 8. Bonito, Mato Grosso do Sul. Another one for nature lovers. Bonito means beautiful in Portuguese, and it's a great destination if you want to connect with nature. There you can see amazing nature and wild animals, visit beautiful caves, hike, swim in waterfalls, or if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, try out rappelling and ziplining. All the activities are guided by a professional, and the agencies in the city have a fixed price, so you don't need to worry about bargaining. You need to schedule your activities in advance, as most attractions have a limited number of visitors per day. They offer almost 50 different options, so you'll have plenty to choose from. The most famous attraction in Bonito is Blue Lake Grotto, a beautiful cave with turquoise-colored water that's up to 90 meters deep. Another much-loved activity is snorkeling in Prata River and watching colorful fish pass in front of you. Papaya Hostel is the perfect hub to chill after a day swimming in waterfalls. They have a beautiful outside area, a swimming pool, a place where you can cook your own barbecue, and many hammocks.